today I'm going to talk about Daikin Altherma MMI user interface, which is used with the third generation of Daikin Altherma systems. So let me show you how to use these controllers for the day-to-day user settings. The user interface comes in two different shapes, depending on the type of the Altherma heat pump. If supplied with the monoblock, you will receive a standalone user interface, whereas with our split, that's refrigerant split and hydro split systems, you will receive a user interface which comes built into the indoor hydro box. Either way, the screen configuration, settings, the dials and the buttons will be exactly the same. Also, both interfaces will have a Daikin eye, as you can see, which indicates the status of the system. There are some sensors within the system, which means that you can see the status or the temperature. So for example, as you can see next to the bathtub, you will see a temperature of 53 degrees. This indicates that the hot water at the moment is at 53 degrees centigrade. You can also see an icon for the radiators with 50 against it. This shows the water temperature going through the radiator. And then you can see the thermostat with the temperature next to it, which is the room set point. The temperature below that, which is 40 degrees, is your leaving water temperature at the moment. You can also see the pressure within the tank. Outside the house, you can see an icon indicating the outdoor unit and the temperature, which is the outside air temperature. This is your home button, which means that if you're within certain settings, and if you push this, it will take you back to the main home screen. We then have a back button, so if you're within certain settings, it will take you one step back or back to the home screen. The first thing that you need to remember is the dial on the left-hand side is the main dial, so you will be using this most of the times. The dial on the right-hand side is only used to change the settings. At the moment, there is an arc above this dial, which indicates that this is the only dial which we can use at the moment. So now, if you want to go into the menu, either push or rotate the dial on the left-hand side, and it will take you to the main menu where you can navigate through the menu functions. So for example, if you want to switch the system on or off, once the operation is highlighted, you press the dial and then you're inside the operation settings. Now you can see arcs on both sides. So the dial on the left-hand side will let you cycle through the options, and the dial on the right will let you change settings. So for example, if you want to change the settings of the room, you cycle through the options until the room is highlighted, and then through the dial on the right-hand side, you can switch the room on or off. So one thing to mention is this controller is password protected for 3 levels, so end user, advanced level and installer settings. In order to go into the end user setting, which will be used most of the times, you turn the dial on the left hand side, you scroll down to user profile, and then it will ask you to enter your password. To enter the password, you will need to use both dials. So with the dial on the right hand side, you start turning until you get to the number that you want to enter. To move on to the next digit, you turn the dial on the left hand side, and then with the dial on the right hand side, you select the digit. change the operation settings, press the left-hand dial to go into the operation menu. You will then be able to change the operation of the space heating or cooling, or the domestic hot water in the tank. So to change the leaving water temperature on the main zone, press the left-hand dial, go to the main zone, and you will see this screen. So with the dial on the right-hand side, you can change the set point. And as you can see, the arrow on the top will indicate what the set point is. The blue color indicates the current temperature on the main zone. Now to change the domestic hot water set point in the tank, go to the tank, and you will see the hot water set point. Using the right-hand dial, you can change the set point, and the number or the arrow indicates the set point temperature in the tank. The blue portion indicates the current temperature in the hot water tank. It's good to know that the hot water set point can only be adjusted if the domestic hot water schedule is disabled. From this user interface, you can also monitor data. For example, you can monitor the energy usage or the heat output from this heat pump. Press the left-hand dial, navigate to information. If you want to see the energy related data, press and it will give you two options. You will be able to see the electricity input or the produced heat by the heat pump. By going into the electricity input, you will be able to see the power consumed by this heat pump. Now by rotating the left and right dials, you can see energy consumed over different time periods. For example, if you want to see the energy consumed today, or the energy consumed this week or this year. By rotating the right-hand dial, you can see the energy consumed during space heating, during hot water production, or the sum of both. Similarly, you can monitor the heat output from the system. The controls are the same for viewing this information. Through this user interface, you can set schedules for different zones, for space heating or for hot water temperature in the tank. To set schedules, navigate to whichever room or whichever zone you want to set the schedules for. If you want to set the schedules for your room, you go into the room, and then through the left-hand dial, you will see a list of options. The first thing I would do is to press on the schedules and make sure that the schedule is activated. If, for example, the schedule is disabled, the heating schedule option will be grayed out. If the schedule is activated, go into heating schedule. With the schedule name highlighted, which is user-defined one, press the dial, and then you can either rename or delete the schedule. Now you can highlight each day and set the schedule for that day. For example, you're in Monday, you can press and edit the schedule for Monday, which will take you to this screen. As you can see, the bar on the top indicates your 24 hours period in which the set point temperature changes 4 times. For example, at 6 o'clock, the set point temperature is 20 degrees. At 11 o'clock, that temperature changes to 18 degrees centigrade. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it changes to 22 degrees. And then finally at 9 o'clock in the evening, the set point changes to 16 degrees. Now to change any of these settings, I can highlight each value with the dial on the left hand side, and then I can change the value through the dial on the right hand side. So for example, if I want to change the set point temperature at 6 o'clock in the morning to 22 degrees, I'll first highlight the set point using the left hand dial. Once the set point is highlighted, I use the right hand dial to change the set point temperature. So to add another set point, you move to the next available time slot. Once highlighted, you select the time, say it's 10 o'clock in the evening. Using the left hand dial, you move to the set point and you change the set point. You can have up to a maximum of 6 time slots per day. Now you can set individual time slots for every day of the week. However, if you want to use the same schedule for every day of the week, you can copy it over. For example, the schedule which we just created for Monday, I can copy this over to the rest of the week. Go to Wednesday and paste it there. We can have the same schedule for every day of the week. The C icon on the right hand side indicates the day you're copying the schedules from. If the system goes into fault, you will see the malfunction or error icon flashing on the screen, which is a triangle with an exclamation mark. You will also see the Daikin eye turn red. If you want, you can set the system in emergency mode. This means that the system will activate the backup heater for space heating operation or immersion heater within the tank for domestic hot water. To activate the emergency mode, go to the menu through the left dial and look for malfunctioning. Once you're in malfunctioning, you can see what the error code is. Press again and it will ask if you want to activate the emergency mode. Press one more time and the system will go into emergency mode. To deactivate the emergency mode, go to deactivate emergency mode and press OK.